or no? It's a new door. Yossi said back. All right, let's get started. Today's a big day. We're moving into the Shivrei Kalim Zachem. Let's get to work. I just want to mention one thing. The Svara I said yesterday is me'ena dugma of what I keep on telling you from Rav Scheinberg that's going to come back. It's the question is only where we're going to apply that Svara, where we're going to hold of that Svara. I mentioned yesterday, we talked about the cases of a ripped tights, the cases of a shirt that has a massive stain on it, which is unfixable mitzad the stain. The case of the shirt that was got roasted and whatnot. And yesterday I made a svara that maybe I mentioned the svara that maybe that does taste the kli shalom, and I mentioned that even though everyone agrees you would throw it out, but maybe a kli shalom you don't have the ability to be mevatel a kli shalom. That's somewhat of the story that we spoke about yesterday. But it's al derech. Rav Scheinberg told us that we throw things out because we're the throwaway society. But the fact that we throw things out is not necessarily a raya to take away a shame kli. We throw things out because that's what we do. We're a throwaway society. But that's not necessarily a raya it's not necessarily a raya. The fact that we throw things out is not the biggest raya. I would say by the case of the shirt, the case of the tights with the hole, you for sure hear it. Ironically, that which has the hole is more mistaber because people have holy tights. So therefore there you really do hear it. That taka, we throw it out because, otherwise in the time, if they didn't have tights, they would just wear it until, like I said, you see all the toes, all the fingers. Okay, a shirt with an ink stain. Again, in our society, you would throw such a thing out. The massive ink stain, you for sure throw it out. Maybe you could say that in those days, they would have kept it. They would have kept it to build the sukkah. They would have kept it for this, that. You also have to remember, we have washing machines and things like that. So we could use a regular shirt to build the sukkah, and then what's the big deal? You put it in the washing machine. These are the stories you have to done. If maybe at least Rav Scheinberg would apply, even if you don't want to hear of Scheinberg klape a shever kli. Scheinberg said it klape a shever kli, that if something breaks, so then we don't use it as a bottle cap because we have bottle caps. That's a big chiddush. You can hear that it's totally in the society and the people, and taka, nobody would even know how to use a shever kli. But when it comes to a kli shalom, you for sure can hear of Scheinberg. When it comes to a kli shalom, something that we're trying to figure out, is that called a kli shalom because everybody throws it out? You can certainly hear that type of a svara, that we throw it out because we have a zeifel abundance and riboy of kalim, so we'll throw it out. But that's not going to take away the shame kli. Does everybody understand what I'm being moisef? I'm just giving a little bit of a flavor to appreciate a little bit more what we said yesterday. Sorry? Again, a ripped shirt is the lowest on the totem pole. Certainly in America, in Chutz La'aretz, if you're not zeichut to have the kaisel, so then it's for sure something that a person wouldn't even think twice and would for sure throw out. So there, for sure, in Chutz La'aretz, it's not even a shaila. Now, it's Israel, people, they can keep the shirt to go, let's say Yerushalayim, you can keep the shirt to go to the kaisel. So then you can hear it a little bit more. Even that, if I'll agree, is maybe an extension of it, and also, I don't know, what do people use to build the sukkah? Right, that's my example of like activity, right? What do people use? That's what they'll use. I don't know. I'm asking that it's a little bit of a chiddush. It's a little bit of a chiddush. Okay, so let's start. Now we start a very interesting topic. I must admit, you have to be makir your makim in the world and understand where you are, and understand that the rabbanim, the tzaddikim, the gedolim, they know more than you. But you still have to be able to ask. You have to ask questions. If you have a question, you have to ask. If you're in the front row and you don't have antibodies, you have to wear things. You have antibodies? I love seeing your face, but without the antibodies, so that's how it goes. In the front row. So the like this. You have to understand the tzaddikim know better than us. And so if I have questions, I have the right to ask my questions. And and what to do l'maisa. Let's learn the sugya like is the normal way, and let's see. With such a akdama, that something's interesting about to happen here. But I don't know. It's a tough sugya. Let's see. Let's clarify hakira. In order to say that something is called a shever kli, in order to establish that something has a din of a broken kli, which you'll get the rules of what we spoke about, going to throw out, threw it out on Erev Shabbos, all the rules we spoke about. Does something actually have to happen to the kli? Till now we spoke about that it broke. Till now we spoke about it that it got a massive stain. Till now we spoke about that it got holes. The tights got holes. Maybe we could clear. Is that called a broken? But everything we spoke about was emistic a broken kalim. And we're clearing what's the din of emistic, a broken kalim, and v'chulei v'chulei. That's the second. Now, yesh lachgor. Does something have to happen to the kli in order to get this new status? What do I mean? Sounds like a weird chakir. Well, till now, every case we spoke about, something happened to the kli. What if I could tell you a moifis? Nothing happened to the kli, but it's a broken kli. What's that? What's that? A disposable kli, a one-time usage, as you said. Worn out. Yeah, okay. Worn out. You could say worn out is not a raya because the worn out is worn out. And then we cleared yesterday, is it worn out? Is it out? Is it outworn? That's what we cleared yesterday. How much outworn is it in order to make it that it's no longer able to be worn and it has to be out? That's but let's say you have something that mamish, nothing happened. Nothing happened to it. So is there such a concept? Is there a moifis that maybe you could have something which is not broken, but afal pekin, it's a broken, meaning nothing happened. Nothing happened over here, but maybe it'll be called a shever kli. What's that moifis? That's the moifis of the Goyin Hagadol Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Amongst other great moifsim, this is by one of the great moifsim that Rabbi Auerbach was responsible for. He made an unbelievable moifis. He made something broken, even though nothing happened to it. Incredible thing, right? What's that? So they asked him like this. They asked him in the Me'orah Shabbos. Me'orah Shabbos he's a great Jew. He lives in like Mesharim over there. He's a great Jew. Has thousands of pages on every single Shaila in Hilchos Shabbos. But this is a Jew that has 250 pages on how to make a cup of coffee on Shabbos. I take off my hat to such a yid. A yid that, mamish, I bow my head to such a 250 pages on how to make a cup of coffee. You got to love such a Jew. So he asked the Gedolim all the Shilas. He's very beloved by all the Gedolim. They answered all Shilas. He wrote them in Ksav. I don't think anybody argues that, it's like Ish Mipifish. He writes the words that he wrote and he writes the answers that he received. And that's it. So he asks him like this. In the 563rd page over there, he asked him based on something that Shlomo Zalman had said. He said, look, and I'll explain this, but I'm just going to go straight to the meat and potatoes right now. He said, you told me, this is what he writes to him, you told me that if you have a bag of milk, now you've seen everyone's seen the bag of milk, So he says, and now there's no more milk left. There's no more of that mitz para, the cow juice is all done, right? And now what are you left with? A bag. You're left with this bag for what do you do with it? So Shlomo Zalman, you told me that that's muksa. That's what he's accused of. You told me that that's muksa. So you told me that's a shever kli. You told me because it's on its way to the garbage. You told me what's the lumdis of a shever kli. Shever kli is not exeris because that something had to happen to it. It could just, I don't like saying Rabbi Yerushalayim, worn out, but it could be just used up, but it's because here it's really nothing happened. It's just used up, right? The mitz, the paras, it's gone. It's avek, it's gone. And now you're left with this bag. So you told me that's muksa and it's an evil muksa. Muksa is machmas gufay. You can't move it now. So he says. So then I want to know. He starts asking him all types of shadows. He says, so you're telling me also a candy wrapper and a Lebanon can and forks and knives and spoons after you finish using them and a toothpick, which is basically used and you're done with it. So you're telling me all that is muksa? So Shlomo Zalman said one word. With this one word, Shlomo Zalman pulled us out moifis. Changed the whole world. The whole world as we know it is different because of this one word of Rav Shlomo Zalman. Sodek, you are correct. You hear what I just said? Shlomo Zalman just, everything changed. Shlomo Zalman just told us a big chiddush. He just told us, you can have, the Shlomo Zalman is so big. And the Shlomo Zalman, was you could say maybe Shlomo Zalman, he always just thought with the chumras, everything chumras. I don't think that, no, as he was known for the big chumras. I don't think so. I don't remember. I think the book burnings in Bnei Brak were not because of his chumras. I think it was something else. He wasn't known for his big chumras. So you got to sit there. When Goyna Godor Shlomo Zalman says a chumra like this, you have to have pachad. Mit verstehen, Nicht in Rishus to ask questions, but mit verstehen. Shlomo Zalman said, Sodek. What did he just tell us? He told us that if you have something which is the Iker Yisrael, he says, look, go look in the Mishnah Berurah. What does the Mishnah Berurah say? What's the reason why Kli Shalim is considered that you can't consider it to be a broken keli, why it's not considered a shever kli, why it's not considered to be a muksa? Because who bist? Who are you? What are you talking? It's butler daitach. You're going to say that such. So he says, what do you mean? Something that everyone agrees is oimid lizraik. That's the aleph base of the sugya. Everything else is dechatim to get to oimid lizraik. But if you're holding by an emistic oimid lizraik, does this taka oimid lizraik, does nishkin kli. The definition of kli is something that's not oimid lizraik. Something that's oimid lizraik, that's not a kli. So he says, so a milk bag, oimid lizraik. 11 get oimid lizraik. Forks and knives and spoons after you finish using them, oimid lizraik. Plastic plates, oimid lizraik, nishkin kli. Nishkin kli. Do you make tefillas kalim on your aluminum pans? Moshe says no. Zman says no. What are you making? Now sometimes you have like a bacher deer, and they have an aluminum pan that they use not once, not twice. They were Yerush it from, the previous guys that lived there, like his main, and in the package deal, I guess the bacher have package deals too. Right? In the package deal, it comes like, I'm also giving you an aluminum pan that and it doesn't have as many holes as the, So they just keep on using it. So maybe that's a different story. I don't know. But Al Kapanim, you have a regular aluminum pan. The most you use it one time, two times, whatever, something like that. So that's not called a keli. Says Goyina Gadol Rav Moshe Feinstein. That's not called a keli. But for a keli is this something that you just use and throw out. That's not a kli. So this is not a kli. Not a kli. Now you can say, wait a minute. So then, how can I use a plastic plate in the first place? It's not a kli. Okay, it's true. It's not a kli, but it's oimid for tashmish. It's oimid to usage. Okay, but at the point of where it's not even oimid for usage anymore, so then she is moksa, moifis from Goyin Agadol Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Thus, he kicks in Rav Shlomo Zalman from the point of when you say Mai Mechreinim Chayva Shir Malais. Because from that point she's already not going to be usable, and that's it. The end. That's the end. Let's see. I'm just trying to endear you to this far a little bit, but that's what Rav Shlomo Zalman told us. That's what he told us. So let's see. Now, let's start the shir over. Okay, but that's what that started. That's such a ruckus that rocked the whole world. The whole world shook when Shem Zalman said this. The whole world. Let's start over. Let's see. What's the din of disposable kalim and chad pami and things like that, things that are oimid to be thrown out? Let's stand now, very without negias for a moment. We know that great men have said what they have said about this, and now let's try to figure this out. According to Scheinberg, this doesn't begin, nothing begins. Right? Now, I want to give you a few things to think about, and then we'll plug everything in. Number one is there might be a difference between Erev Shabbos and Shabbos, obviously, because Erev Shabbos is a lot more aggressive, right? You took something Erev Shabbos, you threw her out, so then you sort of, did the right thing, what normal people do, and normal people consider that not to be a kli. You've shown us that it is no longer in the arsenal of usage, in the arsenal of items that will be used. So then that's one level. We'll have to talk about that. Right, that's us, or what's no, let's stop. Okay, the kli. Then you have Shabbos. Shabbos is better or worse than Erev Shabbos? Shabbos is better because Shabbos, she started out Shabbos. She was a keli, and it's hard to be mevatel the shem kli on Shabbos. We could talk. See, then we're gonna have other things. Then you have wrappers. I put everything together a second ago. Then you have wrappers and things that the whole purpose of why they were made by man was just to house the item that they are housing, like the bag of milk. We know in Hilchos Shabbos that there's a concept of a klipa. We know in Hilchos Shabbos there's a concept that, such a thing, you're allowed maybe even to rip on Shabbos. Why are you allowed to rip maybe the milk bag open on Shabbos? Why are you allowed to open up maybe the potato chips? Okay, we spoke barichas, destruction or whatever. But what's the lumdis that many of the places can say? Das is a chaislis. Das is a klipa. Das is a shell. It's a man-made shell. But maybe Zichah doesn't have a cheshivas of a keli. Because what is she sachakol? She's sachakol there to house the food. I can hear such a thing never ever got a shame of a kli. It was there just as a wrapper. It's like an orange peel. Never got a shame of a kli. Now you take it off. So maybe that we can hear also. Maybe that would also be a svara that could apply over here. But let's see what we could do over here. Let's see. So first of all, according to Rav Sheinberg, nothing here begins. Nothing here begins, and everything is not muksa. Everything is, I gotta be careful with that statement, right? But everything that we have discussed, l'chayr, is not muksa, right? Because according to Rav Sheinberg, he told us a yisayid, which I told you, you have to know when to apply it. But Rav Sheinberg told us a yisayid, we throw things out because we have ribui kalim. That is not going to be kaveya my decisions. That will not be kaveya what's called muksa and what's not called muksa. A person that would be stuck on a road trip. How many times have I used this plastic cup? I mean, this plastic cup just stays and stays. Oh, actually, we changed Rabbi Millen. We changed it, I think now. No? Where did Rabbi Millen go? We lost him. Where is he? Well, we changed it, I think, right? But you know, person's on a road trip and he's whatever, you know, it could just last and last. You know, if he has no choice, he has no choice. You know, so it could just last and last. We throw things out because of the Riboy Kalim. So you could say, who cares about Riboy Kalim? The mice you throw it out. That's obviously what Shlomo Zalman say. But you know, in Rav Scheinberg, that's not going to go. Right? And that's why the Maisa in the world of Rav Scheinberg is a great Jew. Everything, all the things we talk about, nothing begins. Not if you threw it out Erev Shabbos. I don't care if you threw it out. I don't care if you threw it out. But what's the difference that you threw it out? So you threw it out. So you threw out a kli, which is usable because you don't want to wash it. So you threw out a shirt. Right now, obviously, if it got cracked in the garbage, things are different. Right? What? Oh, what about the milk bag? Now, it's true. Nobody in the world ever put in milk into the milk bag. You know, you always see in like yeshivas, like that milk bag hanging, they're doing things. And you know, I'm talking about. Yeah, there's guys that walk around sometimes. I don't want to say it, but there's guys that they walk around collecting with the milk bag. Right? That's the. I could be they're doing that to get Rahmanis done. No. What? It's also good. Rav Scheinberg would tell you. Rav Scheinberg would tell you what he's talking about. It happens to be just a rich kavir, was the best, fancy people, and you have fancy bags and you have fancy things. If you wouldn't, you would use it. Rav Scheinberg not scared. Rav Scheinberg's not scared. There's a bigger chiddush because it never got a shame kli. You never got a shame. Yeah, okay. But I could turn it into a kli. Who cares if it doesn't have a shame? Did it get a shame of something that's usable? Rabbi said, a second ago, there was milk in it, and it was the most wonderful kli on earth. The Americans still can't understand it. But it's the most wonderful, wonderful, usable kli, right? A second later, there's no milk left, and all of a sudden, you go and call it names and call it garbage and call it muksa. It's a chutzpah. How could you call it muksa and how could you call it garbage? A second ago, there was milk in there. It was the most wonderful, usable thing. Now it's not because it doesn't have milk. So what doesn't have milk? Nothing happened to it. You can still use it. Go wash it out and put orange juice in it. Okay? You could do it. You just won't do it. That's because you have riboy kalim. What would be vol to give in? You know, you didn't have. Let's say what would be if mamish a person was stuck and he needed to. So we wouldn't do it. It doesn't matter if you wouldn't do it. You're only not doing it because you have so many other things. Right? Go to Meron to see what goes on over there. Right? Sorry. The world of Rav Scheinberg is not afraid of you. He's not afraid of you. What's the difference? I threw it out before Shabbos. What's the difference? I throw it out on Shabbos. Now, sometimes you have a rip in the bag, and the bag is no longer a usable kli. But what's the difference? The reason she's in the garbage is because you have other things. But I'm allowed to look at things. I'll give you an raya. We saw when it came to oichel, when it came to food, nobody's eating the food in the garbage, right? But this is part of my little bit of my problem. I'll start out with problem number one. Shlomo Zalman, when it came to food, right? I can't blame everything on the Orchis Shabbos. I was going to ask the question to Orchis Shabbos over here, and then I see that it's a straight shot, straight on going with Shlomo Zalman. The Orchis Shabbos goes with this type of mahalach, making things muksa. We'll see soon. What? Yeah, when? But I was going to ask on him, what's he making things muksa? When it came to food in the garbage, he said, well, it's usable food. The fact that you won't eat it doesn't take away from its shame food. So why can't I say the same thing? The fact that you're not using this plastic cup now, you're not using this plastic fork now. So what makes it? Why do you have to call it muksa? Could I technically wash it? Could I technically use it? So why do you have to call it muksa? When it came to food, you didn't call it muksa. So that was the question I was going to ask. I realized a straight question on Goyina Gadol Shlomo Zalman. If you assume, like it says in the beginning of Shmir Shabbos, that Shlomo Zalman looked over everything in the Sefer Shmir Shabbos. So he says when it comes to food, he's not happy, but he has no problem with the food. He doesn't call the food in the garbage box if it's edible or whatever, not if it's totally with diaper loch and whatever. But then when it comes to disposable kalim, he says, whoa, that's his muksa. We'll see, Erev Shabbos, but that's his muksa. So it's a straight kasha. That's my first kasha over here. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go. Let's continue a minute. We'll figure out halacha l'maisa in a moment, but let's at least continue. There's a guy in Rabbi Kiva Eger who brings a Rashba that he wants to say a big chiddush. This wouldn't be my ikar tziruf, but just something to think about. He says you can't become muksa on Shabbos. Bichlal. What's going to be with all the sugyas that we spoke about, right? He says you can't become muksa on Shabbos, and he has a whole unique thought process in the sugya. Sorry? Noilet something else. That's a good point. Noilet is something else. He kind of says the only type of muksa is, like a noilet or something, right? But what? We're going to talk. He would maybe we'll have to see. There might be a sugya of shivri kalim and things like that. But like at the same point, I don't understand the Rashba now. It stems with us, But if nothing happened at all, Nothing happened at all. It's a very unique concept to say nothing happened. That's the chakir we started with. Nothing happened at all, and she's muktzah because you threw it out. It's like nothing happened. Right? You got a little dirt on it. Okay, got a lot of dirt on it. Now you have to know. Sometimes you have each case you could done differently. Sometimes you can have a napkin which you can't even pick up. It's not usable at all. Not just that it's dirty. It's just not shayah. Sometimes you have a paper plate which is it's mamish. The junk has gone through kimat. You can't even. It wouldn't be usable. It would come right through. You could done. I'm not saying, but let's just say make life simple because Rosh Hashanah wasn't being mechalik. Plastic plates, the plastic forks, the plastic spoons that everybody here has. Right? Are they usable? Yes. Does anybody use them? No. But who says that that's what's kaveya? That's now. Maisa, I saw when I looked around to see who agrees and who says what. You should know it's an unbelievable thing. The koyach of Rosh Hashanah is part of his moifus. Many places can go with Rosh Hashanah. Now there's levels and levels. I'm not going to say names and faces because the Av the Kulam is Rosh Hashanah. Now everyone's just had like a different variation of how much he agreed to Rosh Hashanah and how much he didn't agree to Rosh Hashanah. For example, Erev Shabbos, most of the books that I've looked in agree. If you threw out, again, I want everyone to understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking that it's broken. A lot of times you have a plastic cup in the garbage, she's broken. Right? I mean, there's a plastic cup, she's a little bit like azah, and she's fine. Just pop, right? It goes like that. I looked in a lot of books, came out all of them, came out every book that I looked in. What's Rabbi to look at on the paper? Every book came out that I looked in says plastic stuff, the plastic disposable kalim that were thrown out on Erev Shabbos, muksa. Came out every book I looked in because they say, look, Erev Shabbos is once you already showed it's not a kli, and it's oimid liz, right? You put the two of those together, and that's not called a kli. This is a chiddush. I want you to know that. It's a chiddush. It is a chiddush. What? Rav Nissen said which way? Rav Nissen says not? Really? Really? I got it. Yeah, Rav Nissen says not. Okay. I don't know. It could be. Okay, listen. I mean, what? Erev Shabbos? Erev Shabbos or Shabbos? Erev Shabbos or Shabbos? What? Don't know. I'm not sure. It could be. I saw that the Shalma Yehuda in the 6th parak in no, Rav Nissen's Machmer. No. Rav Nissen in the end of the 51st parak, he is Machmer and Erev Shabbos. Shmir Shabbos in the 20th parak in the end of Oisman Beis is Machmer. Rav Elyashiv in Shalma Yehuda in the parak Vav in the 60th Ara, he's Machmer. Don't know. To me, it's a huge chiddush. I mean, everybody say, the regular plastic plates that we have, the regular plastic cup like this, right? You can just wash it off. Right? I'm not saying anyone, in my house, we don't do it. Okay? I saw one sefer, just one moment. What, the Shalvid Levi is Michael? I don't know. I saw one sefer, it's called the Shalmei Yehoinus, and it's a whole sefer. He says, well, if you threw out a clean plate, Erev Shabbos, then clean meaning, I don't know if he means it was never used, there's nothing. So then he said it's not muksa. This is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling because what was the difference between a clean plate and a plate that you can clean? And it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. What's the difference if I took a cup that was never used and I throw it into the garbage, and a cup that I did use and I throw it into the garbage? But I say, this is a used cup. It's cleaner than a cup, right? It's cleaner. It's got water in it, right? It's mind-boggling. I can't mastic such a thing. I tried the whole Benestar to try to understand it. So that's his Erev Shabbos. But Erev Shabbos, I might have no friends that agree with me. Now you're telling me maybe Shevet Levi. I'm telling you maybe Rav Scheinberg. Okay, next. Let's get to Shabbos. Okay, Shabbos. I have a few more friends. What? Sorry. It's been a nimna that these are the svaras that. Okay, let's. We're all equal now. If you guys, you know me. I'm equal to everybody else. But just give me a moment. It's on Erev Shabbos or Erev Shabbos, yeah. Yeah. Why what? Yeah, that's what Rabbi Fulda is saying, because you would never in a million years take out a dirty plate, right? Again, it's something which I have such a hard. I can't massage it. I was looking at the plate the whole Ben Estarm. I'm looking at the plates in the garbage. I say, what's wrong with you? Why are they so not nice to you? I don't understand. I can't. I tried. I tried. I learned muktzah like 30 times, and I can't. I can never understand this. I tried again this time to go in as if like I'd never heard of any svara before. I looked in the diukim and the paiskim. I can't masik this. I can't masik it. Hashem should help me. You guys should daven for me. I daven for you. I daven for everyone in this room. Would you guys daven for me? I daven for you. Every Thursday night, I daven for everybody in this kailah. So don't you think you could daven for me that I should be able to understand this? I tried. I mamish. I don't understand. What's Rosh Hashanah say? Why? He asked people. I don't care that no one would take the cup out. First of all, it's not true. No. First of all, it's not true, right? No, it's not true. You would take it if you had no choice. You take it. Number one, you just always have a choice, right? But number one. But number two is who cares? Who cares? I don't understand. Wait. And Ralph, should I tell him? When you know me, you know my sheet on this whole thing. Should I tell him? You want to tell him? Right? I just tell him. No, you want to? I'll tell him. Should I tell him? You want to tell him? Right? Pause. No, I tell you more. I mamish don't masik something. Is that I'm not convinced. Rabbi Lieberman, you're not going to like this. I'm not convinced the garbage in my house is called an ashba. I'm not convinced because the garbage outside my house, that's a vada ashba. I was masker. I'm not convinced things that are still in my house are called an ashba. I'm not convinced. Right? It's not a mishnah brura. It's not a chavusa with Rav Zil Amaloch. It's not in the first something. What am I reading here? Kalim in your plastic kapamim poshi David that we should kilui. The better memory in the shimut shel Zman sheroi l'shtamish behem eldemis atzlim la'akaisav. Yeah, but again, we don't know what he's talking about. He's not talking about when she's in the garbage. In Paragraph Aleph, he talks about when she's in the garbage. Here he's talking. What's he talking about? I'll tell you what he's talking about. He's talking about that now. What happens? Let's go weiter. I can't. I wish I could understand this. I try. You should know. What do you think I was doing at Mincha just now? Do you know what I was doing at Mincha now? I said, give me something. Nothing came. But what should I tell you? What about before? Let's say now we go to Shabbos a minute. Shabbos, I have more friends. On Shabbos, so let's see. Before we get to the garbage, comes again the Shmir Shabbos in the 20th parak, in the 42nd sif, in the 22nd. He really believes this. He says it twice. In the 22nd parak, in the 53rd sif, he says, oh, of course you're allowed to clean off a table at the end of the meal with plastic plates and forks. Of course you're allowed to clean it off. He says, because it's a graf shalrei. It's a graf shalrei. Meaning it's muksa gomer, but it's a graf shalrei. It's muksa gomer. You understand this? Why is it graf shalrei? We have to learn graf shalrei. He has a sheet in graf shalrei, which is also a very big chiddush. Graf shalrei is, things that are nished. Okay, we'll have to learn graf shalrei, but that's not my point right now. Right? It's tamur. It's mamish tamur. It's unbelievable. Right? How does the Shmir Shabbos, or at least his children, how do they take a plastic off the table? They asked for Shlomo Zalman, what about the plastic tablecloth? Right? What about the plastic tablecloth? So he says, a plastic tablecloth? Yeah, okay. Now that's it. Now it's garbage. It's a one-time usage. How does he roll up the tablecloth? I guess it's oimid to be used as the roll to roll up or something. I don't know. It's minanimna. It's tamur. It's unbelievable. It's mamish tamur. To say that it hasn't gone to the garbage yet, but he says, yeah, but it's oimid lizraik. Everything is oimid lizraik. And as they're learning what's oimid lizraik is a siba. If you're oimid lizraik and you're done with the tashmish, game over. Now, I don't know how many of us, you bench ala kais, you just look for a plastic plate on the table, you take it and you put it under the kais, or whatever, you'll do things like that, right? How many people, the meal's over, you benched and whatever, and then he has to have all those seeds and all the other, what's it called? Chattel, I think it's called, right? And all the, so he takes like a plate, he finds that piece of plate and he throws it onto it, right? I can't masik this. Before it gets into the garbage, I can't masik this. I don't know. I can't understand this. I wish I did, and I can't. I don't know. Okay, let's go find. He writes there, Shmir Shabbos, even aniyim won't take things out of the garbage. So he says, so it's worse than a shever kli. A maskim aniyim won't take it out of the garbage. A maskim aniyim won't. The rich people probably would, but aniyim, a maskim, they won't take it out of the garbage, right? But who cares? Who cares? They won't take it out of the garbage, but nothing happened to it. So they took a shirt and threw it in the garbage. I don't know. Later, okay, let's go weiter. I keep on trying. Packages maybe is worse. The milk bag. The milk bag. So let's go in order. Here. Oh, is it turning green? No, it's okay. Let's go in order. Let's see. Candy wrappers. Candy wrappers after you finish the game. What happened? I want to understand. Right? I want to understand. Candy wrappers. What's the din of a candy wrapper? The candy wrapper, that's the second you take off the candy, she becomes muksa in your hand. right? Right? So like, come in, it's totally right. If you have something, you have to ask the kids this question, right? So sometimes they take the candy and they put it back into the candy wrapper. It's something that's done by some people, right? Does anybody in the world take out candy and put it back into the wrapper? Yeah, for sure, right? It's gotta. The kids do in the shul? Come, whatever. You would still use it. But you know me, I don't fully understand this. A minute ago, she was wrapping a candy and doing something. The fact that I don't have candies to put in it, or I have other things that I put my candies into it, who can take away the shape? So you can say, kli. It's not a kli, right? Never got a shame kli. It's a kli pa. It's not a kli. Who cares? Ilchas Muktzah is not totally in Ilchas Tfilas Kalim. Who cares? Who cares that in Ilchas Tfilas Kalim it's totally in a shame kli achila, klei suda. You're trying to figure out, is this thing a klei suda? Just a moment. Is it a klei suda like we find in the pasuk? You know what? If you have an eggshell and it's cracked into 1,000 pieces, that's taka garbage. If you have a ripped candy wrapper and it's cracked into 1,000 pieces, of course that's garbage. Right? If you have a wonderful candy wrapper, wonderful, hasn't been ripped, it's wonderful. Let me tell you all the phenomenal usages that you could use a candy wrapper for. For example, now I'm not saying that I approve of this type of behavior, or I was always the one giving mussar to the kids that did these things, not right, it's not nice. I remember in the Haim, used to get the candy and then you would put inside like a dish. I was always telling them it's not Genevas das. It's Genevas das. You should know. You're going to come back like a chihuahua. Yeah, that's what I used to say. Chihuahua, and a doggy sweater with an owner who's lonely and has a matching sweater. I was giving mussar, but they would take that tissue, they put it inside the candy wrapper. They would wrap. I said, and then when they would throw the candies, so they would throw, and you see the kid, he's all excited like this, And then, I thought it was wrong. It's Genevas das. I think it's wrong. There's a lot of things you could do with a candy wrapper. Like you could put candy in it. So what takes? So you can tell me, but it doesn't have a shame of a kli. It's a kli pa. Who cares? It's in Ilchas Muktzah. Where does it say in Ilchas Muktzah that you need to have a kli on the level of Ilchas Tfilas Kalim? Where does it say that? It doesn't say it anywhere. There's no such thing. Right? Rabbi say, does anybody teufel their napkins? Why not? Oh, so then they're muktzah. Napkins are muktzah, but you don't teufel your napkins. Why not? So you see, it has nothing to do with Tfilas Kalim. I saw one sefer, he writes this with, Rosh Hashanah never said this. I saw one sefer, he writes it with like mamish, like the Seres HaDibros, because we find in Tfilas Kalim. What the Seres HaDibros? Right? What is this? Right? Worry about that. Hashem Elokecha. What is he writing over here? I don't understand. I don't know. I tried. Let's go fight it. Milk bag, bottle. I saw one tape. I couldn't even believe it. I can't believe it. He writes, a bottle is muktzah. Once a bottle's in the garbage, it's muktzah. Like a bottle like this is muktzah. That's stam mamish meshunadik. That's meshunadik. This I'll say with a sharp kite. That's meshunadik. Rosh Hashanah never said that. That's meshunadik. Anybody that needs a bottle is going to look around. You don't have to be that you do it, Rabbi said. I don't care if you do it. I need to know, is it something that's done? Avad it's done. Avad it's done, right? Avad it's done. I hope nobody did it to this one. But Avad it's done. Okay, recycling. I don't know how recycling works. How does recycling work? Do they melt it down to recycle, or they clean it? Yeah, so it's not the biggest riot. I don't know. So I said that. I tried. You should know. I tried. The whole Ben Storm. I was trying to figure out. What? So you rich Jew from Gateshead. You fancy rich Jew from Gateshead. He said, cartons. You have so many extra things. Fancy people. The Chafetz Chaim, he would have kept it for the Einiglach. Why? Also fancy rich people from Gateshead, right? Why are those ones very? I got a mamish appellate to me is the Lebanon cans. The Orcha Shabbos writes Lebanon cans are not muktzah. Why? Because sometimes the ganenets in the school, they ask you to bring the Lebanon cans in. I asked my wife today. Did I do it? Yeah?
That's every single item in the house.
Yeah, she says to me, Murray the Capella, you guys are going to love this. She said to me, you never ever pump today, the first time ever. Because the menorah. No, she's Murray the Capella. No, Mamshet Moifis. That's my Moifis, Derech Agav. It goes on my cheshbon, not on it goes on my cheshbon. Yeah? It's my Moifis. Yeah. Okay, maybe. So that already everyone will agree. The Lebanon cans, the Levin cans, which nobody ever used over here, but it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you. I don't care that you use your Levin can over again. I don't care. Just one moment. I don't care that you use the Levin can over again. But how could you say it doesn't have a shame of a Kli? I don't understand this. And then he writes, the Shmir Shabbos writes, you don't know what a Levin can is? What's the problem? What? Yeah, for sure. You're in public. Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, it's a Pella. It's a Pella. It's Mamash a Pella. It's a Pella. It's a Pella. I remember I was a Bacher, and then the guys that would smoke, the bad guys, right? I was always screaming at them, it's wrong. An ashtray. It's an ashtray. They would use it as an ashtray. Now, I'm not saying if you use something as an ashtray, that could be a basis for smoke, but you use it, it's a Kli. Of course it's a Kli, right? It's a Kli. I don't know. Later. This whole story in yeshiva, I remember when I was a Bacher, that somebody, he had contacts. This is the olden days when contacts were new. It was like this big, plastic bag, and he couldn't find somewhere to put his contacts one night. So he ate the yogurt and he washed it out. Right. So the next day, one of the other Balkarim was cleaning up the room. So he took off like a yogurt can, and he threw it out with the contacts. And there was a whole shiloh. He called the mazik. Is he an oinus? Is it oinus gomer? Is he held all the guys are shaita? But it's Buzz. Thank you. Wait till I finish my training next time. Yes. The milk drop, but maybe I don't know. But the milk. He talks like this. The Shmir Shabbos is such a pitloy. He says, what happens if you have a drop of milk, a little bit of milk left inside the bag? So he says, at the point of where it's oimid to the garbage, so that's it. It's already garbage. Sometimes that last drop of milk is the most chushiv. You know what I mean? That last, you sit there milking, sometimes, sometimes Shabbos morning, that happens, and you sit there, you're like, squeezing, you hear moo, you know what I'm talking about, right? I don't even know. I don't understand the Balbatishkeit over here. I don't know what happened over here. A toothpick, I could use the same toothpick till next Shemitah. I don't mean this Shemitah, I mean the next, yeah? A toothpick, what else? I don't know. Tissues. I'm afraid to get personal. Who wants to help me? Right? No, Mamish, a tissue, you write a tissue, once you use it, you use it once, it's already muksa. Yeah, right. No, I don't have any other way of saying it except for yeah, right. Right? Yeah, right means like in American, you guys, it's like, no, it can't be. Like, yeah, right. Right? Yeah, right. What? You're supposed to watch it. Of course, it's a 600th cheer today. We're almost up to 613, right? You have to make up the first 598 cheer. Yeah, I forgot to tell you when you came. Yeah, okay. Akapanim. So let's go back. I don't know. This part of the cheer is over. Tzarchin. That's it. New cheer. Halacha Maisa, Tzarchin Gadol. No, I'm badladaiti to these great guys, but listen, Shabbos, I won't be mevater. On Shabbos, I won't be mevater. Once I have friends on Shabbos that are makel anyways, because Shabbos maybe you can't take away the shame kli. So Shabbos on Chad Pami and all that stuff. There's no shayla. The shayla legabe wrappers and things like that. Let's at least try to let's put it like this. If it's in your hand, you can be make on the sheet. Then when something's in your hand, you can put it in the garbage, and you can walk calmly to the garbage. If it's, by default, a lot of the svaras are going to wind up, halacha l'maisa, we wind up being makel anyways. Why? You have a wrapper on the floor and it bothers your wife or it bothers you, and it bothers you. So now I'm going to tell you she's not moksa. I don't mean a ripped wrapper. I mean a wrapper that's not ripped, right? I'm going to tell you she's not muksa. The Shmir Shabbos is going to tell you it's a graf shalrei, it's soya and ki and then all types of dreadful things. So I don't agree with him on that. He doesn't agree to me on this, but we both agree you can throw it out, right? And what else is there? A bottle, I can't masik it. I can't even masik it. I can't begin to masik it. I can't begin to even masik such a thing that could possibly be muksa. Then you want to know, so now in my garbage, you want to know, at least I say that, my garbage has a lot of things that aren't muksa in her. What's the answer to the difference between food and a chad pami keda? I can't massive. I know the answer. The answer is because this is something that since it's oimid from the beginning of its life to go into the garden. So it's food. Today we live in the door of the, we're no longer living in Tafresh Pei Aleph. We're in Tafshin Pei Aleph. and people throw away food. So it's also oimid to be thrown out. I don't know. And especially if you have a little drop of milk left in the bag, for sure you could take the bag and throw it out. Because for sure that's still bottled to the milk inside there. And that little bit does matter. Little bits matter, right? Little droplets of milk matter, okay? You know, that I don't know. Erev Shabbos, if you have inside the garbage forks and spoons and knives of disposable forks, so then if you want to know, you know, what I think you probably shouldn't take them out and use them, okay, which you weren't doing anyways. But maybe it's enough to say that my garbage isn't muktzah, which will enable me to move my garbage tiltul min atzad, which isn't the real tiltul anyways. You know, which we'll see. Certain kulas, what we're allowed to do. Maybe I'll use it klape that. So does everybody understand? Did I make it clear? Everybody it's clear? I don't know. I'm not proud of this. You know, I always try to understand everything that the Gedolim are saying. And in this case, I'm understanding from Rabbi Spira that Shevet Alevi says, like I'm saying, at least on Shabbos, Reb Nissen seems to say what we're saying. I don't know. Sorry? I don't know. And Scheinberg, we know, would say like I'm saying. And I don't know. What? What's the Shiloh? For sure. But he's saying that he agrees it's a derech olam. But it doesn't. That's not going to make something. Let's explain. Rabbi Isai, if this breaks, if something breaks, right? If something breaks, a bottle, well, something breaks, this thing rips. This thing rips or something like that. So then, if Scheinberg is telling you, let's say it rips down the side here, right? It rips down the side here. So Scheinberg's telling you, you could, rips all the way down the side, and I could still put the microphone in here, I could still put it, it's just not so geschmack. So Scheinberg's telling you, you're just throwing it out because you have so many things. Just a moment. That's a chiddush. That we agree is a very big chiddush, because there it is shever. It is broken. So once it's broken, what do I care what the reason why people are getting rid of it is? It's Lamaisa. They're telling us that this by them is considered broken. So I have a right to look at the society that is establishing that that's broken. Okay? That's when I want to talk about something that is broken. If something is broken, so I have a right to say, if the society throws out the broken thing and they say that's broken by us, so then I understand that that's considered a shever kli, and I don't care that you're only doing it because of this and this and this. I don't care why you're doing it. That I can understand. So once it gets into the garbage, even the garbage in the house, then I can understand why all the Gedolim argued on Rosh Hashanah. Okay, but let's say something's not broken. It's not broken. So how, what are you going to say? Because it's oimid lizraik. Yeah, it's oimid to be in the garbage. So what? It is oimid to be in the garbage, but is it a davar that is usable in muksa? The kaveya of what is considered a muksa is you no longer have a shimush. The fact that you are not using it is not going to be enough to be kaveya that thing is muksa. It has to be, it is not usable. I don't understand this. It's a tzarech gadol. It's not just tzarech gadol. But again, I'm not giving I understand that the Gedolim know better than me, so I'm going to try to get out of the shayla, like I mentioned. So on Shabbos, I think you could for sure be mekel, kimat on everything. On the wrapper loch, anyways, like I said, you have graf shalvei. Because Zman it hasn't gotten to the garbage, I don't even begin to understand. It's sad to be machmer and such a thing. It's tamua in the most tamua de ka'ifin. Sorry. So playing with the wrappers is a klishim lachtel heter? No, because it's an oichel, so it's bottled to the oichel. So what do you want to know? You want to stop playing with the wrapper. Okay, so I won't play with the wrapper, the covered with Shlomo Zalman, for the covered with Shlomo Zalman. But if I see someone at the table playing with the wrapper, I'm choosing my battles. Chinuch is a big parsha, This is not where I'm going to, hey, you with the wrapper, right? Thus, empty bag of chips will be the same thing. Again, I don't mean a ripped bag and it's whatever. But Shaimer will tell you if it's ripped down the side, you could probably still use it, right? Because just safe, you can get the chips in there, Safe, you could put a bag clip on top. Okay, that far I don't know if we would say. Sorry? Yeah, a regular bag, you can see what you're hearing from me, a regular bag of potato chips. A regular bag of potato chips is mutter, it's not muksa. That's what you're hearing over here. Adkan, was? What? He doesn't just say Erev Shabbos, even Shabbos. He goes with these fars even on Shabbos. It's not true. That's what you see. He went with this out of sight. Oimid Lizraik was by him everything. To me, it's tamua. I don't know. It's a big chiddush. I don't know. It's a big chiddush. I don't know. It's unbelievable. You came out, it's 600 shir. I'm came out in all 600 shir. There's never something that I so didn't understand the whole other side. It's mamish. Usually you can hear both sides. I don't know. I'm nervous. That's why I'm saying it in this fashion. Because if everybody disagrees, it's a little bit scary. Sorry? That bothers me even more. It bothers me. Which way? The other way. He's saying, that bothers me even more. Back then, people for sure used, Rabbi said, you guys didn't have bubbies and zaydis and whatever. Vada, what do you mean? She says, no, those ones are zaydis. And right? What are you talking about? And then you see that one. What's it does? Does the zaydi's teeth? I forgot to brush them. You understand what I'm talking about, right? And Rav Shlomo Zalman said it then. I managed that what gets, was? I'm sorry? Maybe that's an interesting thought. Maybe Rav Shlomo Zalman was talking about like in the olden days, they had like these paper plates and paper cups. You don't get them as much anymore here, America, you get them, right? America doesn't have the good stuff like in Eretz Yisrael, They have all the fancy things. We have like plastic. They didn't get that yet, right? What? That cup you can't reuse? That cup you can't reuse? Yeah? Okay. That cup you can reuse. Say that cup you can reuse. That cup you can reuse. There's a Jew that sits next to me in the shtibel every morning, in the shul, not the shtibel, in the shul every morning, makes himself a cup of coffee. I see where he hides it. It's the same cup. I don't know if it was from before Nixon came to office or after, Thatcher, Maggie, or whatever her name was, right? Ich weiß nicht, wenn Far Maggie, noch Maggie, I don't know. Das weiß ich nicht. Aber, don't go there. Okay, but maybe what he's saying is interesting. That might be, Gil Mayer might be right. Maybe Rav Shlomo Zalman, that's interesting. Maybe he's talking about, Rav Moshe. That's an interesting thought. Rav Moshe has a tshuva where he talk. Meaning, I agree. I could hear somebody saying legabe the. You saw levels of svaras. I could understand somebody talking about wrappings and disagreeing with what I'm saying. Because its whole usage is just for the food and it's only to go in the garbage. So maybe you see it as something which is totally just bottled to that food once that food is gone. I could start hearing that far. I could hear a little bit more, you could hear a little bit more. But when you have something like plates, that bothered me the most. So maybe you see something by Rav Moshe, you see a similar thing. You just reminded me. Rav Moshe has a whole tshuva where he talks about using a paper cup for Kiddush. We spoke about this in, I think it was the 143rd year. Where was it? 134th year, I think it was. And he talks about using a paper cup, he doesn't say the word paper, but he talks about using a disposable cup for Kiddush, right? And then he gets involved in a disposable cup for Kiddush, and he says, it's not a kais yofer. Where was it? Maybe in the 50th tshuva, I think. Where was it? I think in the, maybe Simon Nun, I think so. And he said that it's not a kais yafer, a kais shalom, something that's oimid to throw out and whatever. It's not a kais yafer. And then but it sounds like from Rav Moshe that maybe for Netilas Yadayim, maybe it would be good. It's just that din in Kiddush. It's a and I think we spoke b'shaita that someone is saying maybe it's because in those days a cup. What would happen? You put, in the airplane they still have a lot of times those cups, right? You put water in there. Sorry, in the dentist office sometimes. Yeah, it's true. You put water in there, and what comes out? The water, right? It comes out. That really is a one-time thing. That mamish you could start hearing. That you mamish can't reuse. You'd be scared to use it because the water is going to come through, right? You're gonna, it's mamish. So that maybe you want to say maybe that's for some time. This tshuva was written. He's saying the tshuva was written in the early 90s, late 80s, and in those days, saying that's what the matzav was, and Eretz Yisrael, paper cups in Eretz Yisrael in those days. Man. The kibbutzniks weren't known for making good paper plates. What? Sorry? A paper plate, it's got all the stuff on it, right? Maybe. What? That's interesting. What about those little packet loch of ketchups, that's already difficult how do you reuse such a thing, right? How do you... No, but clape, let's say you finish with it, and you take everything out like a salt thing. You can't maybe even reuse it, what? Well, yeah, but you can't. How are you going to get it in? You'd have to open it up and rip it. But you know what? You won't be allowed to do that on Shabbos either. You won't be allowed to open it and make it into a kli. You may be allowed to rip it to get out the food. Now, that's interesting, Shai. That could be taka. That's Rabbi Blumenthal had something. Yeah, maybe there I'll agree. Right? That's interesting. What? Come again? Wait, we didn't start. No, we're talking. I don't know what's going on here today. No. What? That's the tshuva moved. Okay, fine. I can find him. Okay, let's start. No, that's it. I don't know what happened over here. Right? Now, if something breaks on the floor, so we didn't learn this yet, but you do have to know if you have a glass that breaks on the floor or something like that. So glass breaks on the floor. Everyone screams mazel tov, but you still don't want it. So, it breaks on the floor, and now you have all these bits of glass on the floor. You have all these bits of glass. So shivrei kalim, they're all mixed up. You're not putting it back together. It's all mixed up. So that's the Mitzvah we're going to learn. There's a Bir Halacha in Tav Kuf Yud Ches that he talks about if there's damage and hezek. We'll see in Sif Yud Ches. If it muksa b'makim hezek and makim das, certainly if you have a baby, right? Certainly. But the only thing is that the Aruch HaShulchan, I'm just saying it now, even though we didn't learn the sugya, because it's just a good thing to remember. Lo Aleinu, shouldn't break. Also, Hanukkah things that happen sometimes. So if it happens, so then use tiltum and atzad anyways. We'll see. We'll talk about Aruch HaShulchan says just use a broom, which you're using anyways. Sometimes there's one piece you can't get. You have no choice. So b'makim hezek, you're allowed to pick it up, right? But what? I never talk. We'll go to the sugya. We'll learn the sugya of hezek and all that. And we'll learn. Okay, let's start the sugya. Oh my goodness, we did nothing here. If anyone looks, don't look at that clock, because I look at this clock and the shir has to be for an hour and not a penny more. But that means I have 8 minutes. But when you look at that clock, sometimes it has to do with the fact that we're starting mincha late. You know what I mean? What's it? The tender tell him to come 2 minutes earlier. What? What's the plan? There's a lot of traffic, so I'll tell you what to do. Come 2 minutes earlier. And tell them come 2 minutes, and then that way the traffic will be there, but it'll be 2 minutes. We got to change that. Rav Scheinberg has mentioned Rav Scheinberg said. So I'll tell you what Rav Scheinberg used to do. Seder used to start. Somebody told me I wasn't the bacher there, but somebody told me the Seder would start at 3:15. Let's say, I don't know, whenever it starts. 3:15. So 3:16 if you bachim are walking in still. 3:18, 3:25 still if you bachim walking in. So Scheinberg, the last bacher walks in, like 3:32 or whatever. Last bacher walks in, Shabbat would go to the clock and he would turn it to 3:15. Thursday. So we just do that from now on. We'll turn it to 3:50. Okay, let me get. So let's start. Let's at least start. You guys today, you better finish Ches and Tes. Ches and Tes is the big C from that we're doing now. Ches Tes, that's tomorrow, and then Tes Zayin is the next one. That's the sugya of broken kalim, the special gzeira and whatnot. Let's see. So what does it say in Ches? Kala kalim hanitalim b'Shabbos dal sesayim shenisparku mehem nitalin beinisparkim b'chol beinisparku b'Shabbos. Ooh, this is such a big chiddush. Oh, this is such a big chiddush. What happened? You have a little cabinet, a little chest, a little something. Now, don't get confused. Sometimes something can be big and it might have a dinner karka. That's already sif yud and sif. That's already. What happens? Let's say let's say you have like a door or something, right? And the handle comes off. So that's a whole different shmuzerai. That's a whole different shmuzerai. No one should ever tell me their secrets, right? But if the handle falls off the door, so now wait, whoa. It says the Shulchan Aruch in Sif Ches, when the lid of a kli falls off, a lid, we'll see what these things are. A lid was attached. I always think in my head, I don't know why, when I was a kid, I had this like little safe for like all the very important things that I owned. There's a little red safe, and let's say that door, if that door would have fallen off, the safe bleibt dibber, and just the door fell off, right? So that's what the Shulchan Aruch is talking about. Kol ha'kelim hanitel b'Shabbos dal seisayim shenisparku me'em nitel. Then it's not muksa. Well, it does. It's not muksa. Why? It's broken. You have to put it back on. It's broken, right? What is this? Mazav, mazav. So we're going to see. It has to do something with the fact that when you have a kli and the ikar kli is kayim, the ikar kli is still there. That's the nusach of Year of Tosfos. The ikar kli is kayim. So then we say the door, even though the door fell off, the door is tuffled to the ikar kli. How that works, it's Hashem. Now we'll talk about, but the door is tuffled to the ikar. So if the kli bleibt iber, the kli is still fine and everything's fine. So that even if it fell off, maybe even if it fell off Erev Shabbos, if it fell off, so then you have a shame of a kli. So then you have a shame of a kli. Got it? You have a shame of a kli. So then you have a shame of a kli. That's what comes out. So memela, but that's all by a kli. But if something was attached to the karka, ooh, that's a whole different story, because a karka is not a kli. So now you used to be attached to the ground, and therefore your movement was within the realm of the ground. Now you're removed, you're a kli, but you're not a kli, because you're oimid l'chaper to the karka. So therefore, if a door handle falls off, that's a whole different story, right? Some people, we'll have to see. He's still stuck in the toilet, or we have to work, we have to get him out. We have to see. But we have till Shabbos to get him out, right? But let's see. Akapanim, that's the Yisrael. Now, Lamaisa, I can't start the sugya because of the fact that we are almost out of time. So I'm going to tell you a side idea for a moment. It's related very much still over here. But this idea, because we have to talk tomorrow about a button that fell off, right? And then, I have such a story to tell you. I remember this story about a year ago. There was a young Kallus, and she was walking down the street, and the diamond popped out of her ring. And it was so big, right? It was so big that it popped out of the ring. It popped out of the ring, right? So there, now the diamond was right there. The diamond was right there. But her chassan, the chassan said, wait, it's muksa. You can't pick up the diamond. It says pekuach nefesh. It's pekuach nefesh, right? Could you pick up that diamond? That's very related to our second. I'll tell you what it means in First Shulchan Kala kelim nitalim b'Shabbos. What's the difference? A door. The ikar kli is kayim. The ring is the ikar kli. No, right? The setting, I think it's called or something. No, the ring is the Bein isparku b'chayil, bein isparku b'Shabbos. Bein if it's isparku b'Shabbos, right? We'll have to see. They get on all fours and pick it up with the mouth and whatever. Not so easy. Not so easy. What? Yeah, you have to be careful not to swallow it. Oh, if you swallow it, let's buy Metamucil. Oh, we're finding that thing, huh? One thing I want to tell you, but that we have to talk about tomorrow. Button law, knep law, mit diamonds, mit what else? All the good shilas we have tomorrow. Good stuff. But let me tell you one thing. Interesting shilah. One interesting shilah. Listen to Mishnah Berurah. I didn't pay attention to this, and I realized a big thing in this Mishnah Berurah. I want you to think about this, and we'll end with this. Mishnah Berurah says, you know what? The door that I thought, whatever this door is, okay? The door, whatever the case is, you know that you're allowed to move this door. Afilu mechamel itself. That's what Mishnah Berurah says. Is there a chiddush in that? Is there a chiddush? Yeah, father, it's mutter, right? It's a chiddush, right? Because the let's say by me, I told you, I always think of that safe, which probably that safe is a klishmat or anyway. So, but whatever. I think, give me something to think about. What do we have? Like a little what? A drawer? A chest of drawers. No, but sometimes those. Okay, small chest of drawers. Yeah, a small chest of drawers. Because I don't want to get involved in if it's too big and it's 40 saw and karka. What? A little nightstand, right? So the drawer comes out. So the drawer, she's not muksa. That's what it says. Okay, the drawer is not muksa. Now, sometimes to get that drawer back in, you might have to do a malacha to get it back in. We're going to talk about that, and still it's not muksa. That then Mishnah Berurah doesn't seem to differentiate. It seems like even if I have such a thing, that in order to do it, you'd have to there's a screw that was the reason why it would have come out. So you'd have to take the screw and screw it back, something like that. Okay. So the kai govna, you can have to do a malacha to put it back. Afal pikein, it seems to be that if the ikar kli is kayim, so we say just like when she was a part of her mother, her father, agav avian, even though she was a part of it and she wasn't muksa. So now even though it came out, as long as it's oimid to go back, it's not muksa. That's the klal. You don't become muksa because you have separated from your father. That's the klal. What? Sorry? So it might be, we'll see. There are gzeiras as we go along. Things might change because other factors might come up. But let's say there is such a sugya. So says the Mishnah Berurah, and that drawer, you can move even michamel itself. That means even who's coming again? The angry looters, right? And they're coming and they're about to take your drawer. So you could take the drawer inside and you could save the drawer. You could save the whole closet and the whole drawer. You could take it inside. Okay? Is there a chiddush? What do you think? You think it's a chiddush? It's a pashut, right? Avada, the actual what are the little mini night table is mutter. So then she is a part of the night table. That's the chiddush here, right? So what's the chiddush? She's mutter afilu l'chan. Oh, there's a big chiddush here. Oh, he's such a big chiddush. Such a big chiddush. You know what? There's a big chiddush here. Maybe you can say chiddush. I hear the shame of the kli is not gone. I'm asking because it's still a kli agav daviyah, right? But maybe it could be a kli shemalach l'yasser. Say why should it be a kli shemalach l'yasser? It's a drawer. I'll tell you why. Because the only way to get any usage out of this drawer is to do an isser, is to take the drawer and to put it back, which would require me to do an isser. So because that's in the case I described before, that you have to do an isser. And the Mishnah Berurah doesn't differentiate. He's clearly saying in that case that it's not. Whoa. So why isn't that a Kli Shemlach Al Yetzer? Maybe you could say from your Chiddush. Maybe a Chiddush. Maybe, and this is a very big Chiddush, which we have to talk about. We still haven't really talked about electrical kalim. Everybody say, is a fan a Kli Shemlach Al Yetzer? Is a fan? We always took on its room she is, right? Zman told us it's category 2. Maybe it's a Kli Shemlach Al Heter. You know why? Because what makes it a Kli Shemlach Al Yetzer? While it's on, it's the most hectic thing in the world. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. Elamai, why is she an Isser? Because in order to get the usage, I have to do an Isser. Who said that's a Kli Shemlach Al Yetzer? Think for a second. Hammer is something that the usage of her is Isser. Knocking nails, that's the usage of her is Isser. Maybe if the usage of her is mutter, what's the usage of fan? The most mutter thing in the world, right? To get air blown on you, it's the most wonderful thing, right? Elamai, but in order to get the usage, you have to do an Isser. So wait, maybe I can prove from this Mishnah Berurah, not like that. Maybe I can prove. The Mishnah Berurah is talking about even cases that in order to get the usage, he's talking about a handle that fell, a door of a kli that fell off, and he's talking even in cases where I'd have to do a malacha to put it back on. And Alpha Beacon, he says, mutter micham l'tzel. Why is it mutter micham l'tzel? Just say pasha. Just say it's a kli shemlach al yetzer. Why say it's mutter? It's kli shemlach al yetzer. The only way I can get the usage is by doing an isser. That's the only way. No? You agree with what I'm saying? What do you say? What? Come again? Let's say in the case of the fan's not on. Whatever. Is a fan kli shemlach al yetzer? Yeah, kol shegen when it's on. I'm saying is a fan of kli shemlach al yetzer. So I'm not 100% convinced. I'm not convinced, and the time is up. I'm not convinced. Okay, but do better move, everybody say. Okay. Wait just 1 second.